What's going on, friends? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Black MamBa's Power of the Primes Grimlock. This is a red, white, and black repaint of everybody's favorite Grim Master, the giant Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's the same figure. It is the exact same figure down to the molding. Everything is exactly the same, only 1.5 times bigger. I mean, right here, you can see. Exactly the same, just a little bigger. And more Power Ranger-esque. Now, the one thing I do appreciate about this new paint job is that the mouth itself is painted silver, which is nice, because there's some differentiation between the teeth and the mouth and the rest of the head, where our standard Power of the Primes Grimlock is lacking in that department. We have this little Mega Man X figure from Japan that can fit inside Grimm's mouth with no real problems whatsoever. I mean, it's not going to fit all the way, but you can actually get him to be quite chompy when you want to. The only real oddity is the fact that the Power of the Primes Prime Masters are just a little bit too small to actually fit correctly. So because he's scaled up, the hole back here in the bottom of his mouth is too big to actually peg in a Prime Master. Though it does peg in, you end up closing the mouth over the bulk of the Prime Master like he's actually going to eat the bloody thing. Blah. And I just find that ridiculous because, well, that's the name of the Megazord as well. It's the same exact transformation, though I have found that the arms pop off much easier than the official version, oddly enough. The paint and the molding is all good, however, the inside of the white here on the head, when I got the figure, had this weird film on it that is really the releasing powder. So what they do is they coat the molds of the plastic that they, do plastic injection into in a powder so that the figure or the pieces can release well. And some of the pieces on the inside of the molding do still have that residue, but nothing a little bit of, just washing the figure won't fix. The one thing I forgot to mention about this figure is a good chunk of it is die-cast. We've got a lot of die-cast parts on here. The pieces on the figure that are die-cast are actually very limited. So the white here in the arms are die-cast. The legs are, or I should say the upper thighs are die-cast. And the tail is die-cast in the white, not in the red plastic. So this white plastic die-cast, this red plastic is not. But this plastic here that forms the front crotch of the combined mode is die-cast, which is weird. But this white plastic up here is not. So we're not getting nearly as much die-cast as we were with Tricera, but there is die-cast to be had. In terms of posability, it's exactly the same as Grimlock. Ball joint in the head, though it is somewhat limited. Ratchet joint in the shoulder, and then a hinge joint on the outside of that. Swivel at the upper arm. Over 90-degree bend at the two hinge joints that make up the double elbows. Sadly, no fist articulation, and I would have also liked to have seen some paint on the fists. There are little claws here that are on the tips of the fists, or tops of the fists. I would have loved to have seen some paint there. Torso articulation. TYRANO can kick forward that much. Moving the crotch plate out of the way, figure can kick back all the way. 90-degree bend at the nice, loud ratchet. And a thigh swivel. There are no feet to articulate, though. It's just kind of a stump. Oddly enough, TYRANO comes with the exact same accessories as Tricera. And that's a problem because the holes in his hand are too big. So the gun just flops about, and you can't actually get him to hold the gun correctly. Though behind the wrists there are peg holes, so you can peg the guns in, but again, the peg holes are too big. He also comes with the same sword that, while fits in the hand, the hole in the hand is much too big for the sword. And again, the same thing on the side, much too big, though it does stay in better in the peg on the side than in the hand. And if you put both swords out like this, he looks like a manga character for some reason. As you can see in robot mode, TYRANO is easily a head or two bigger than Grimlock. I really like the TYRANO figure. I think it feels good, it's sturdy, and it's just a good figure. But the Grimlock figure was also pretty darn good. Transformation into the combined mode is exactly the same once again. So we simply fold up the fists, flip the Dino mode over, like so, and peg it in. Take the arms and rotate them up, out, and then turn the arms around and peg them up into the shoulder wings, which on this figure, like the original Grimlock, the shoulder wings do not peg in very well at all. I'm very, very, very tempted to get one of the third-party add-on sets that really makes Volcanicus a little bit better. But, well, we will wait and see. And the one other thing that has continually baffled me is this front skirt really feels like there were supposed to be pegs or something that flip out and peg into the back of the thighs in these peg holes specifically, but nothing does, so nothing I can do about that. Oh well. So, let us go ahead and add the other dinos on, and we will see what that looks like. Now, Volcanicus combined with the Power of the Primes figures and his own blue Triceratops, some major problems do arise, and these are similar problems that we have, or the fandom has discovered, with Volcanicus in general. One, the shoulders, specifically that shoulder and that shoulder. The pegs there are much too weak, and that Triceratops is significantly heavier than the original. It's about twice as heavy. The other issue has to do with the crotch, or specifically the hips. The pins that connect the ratchet joints to the body are much too loose. Way too loose, in fact. So the figure does have a tendency, or the combined mode has a tendency to fall over. One thing that is cool, though, is that the combiner ports, which we see right there, let me actually spread that a little bit so you can see it, the combiner ports are the same size as the original Power of the Prime and Combiner Wars sizes. So it works. It can combine with any figure or any Combiner Wars limb. And that's pretty cool, but the proportions to this set are just off. Even with these smaller limbs, it still feels off because there's so much dead space here and between the legs. It just doesn't look good. And you know what? I realized that since I only have two of these figures, the Tricera only came with a foot. It did not come with a fist, and the original Combiner Wars fists, or Power of the Primes fists, or Prime Armor fists, don't fit the peg hole anymore. I really like the set. I'm loving the Power Ranger-esque color scheme they've got going, except for the weird random orange Apatosaurus. But hey, who cares? You're going to have a big, colorful Dinobot set that's going to be even bigger than Volcanicus, so that alone is very cool. So everybody, let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit the bell so you know when a new video is out. As always, I'm Baltmatrix, and me will catch you next time.